I always say cancer to consciousness because that's the name of my book that'll hopefully be coming out eventually. But it's another cardio and consciousness with me, your host, Zach, and it's where I just talk and hopefully you post comments down below so that we can have a nice, fun interaction with all of us and all of our questions can be answered and maybe the council can speak through us and give us some clarity. So today's discussion is going to be based upon a question my friend Lori asked, and that is pretty much per my previous video talking about how do you keep your heart open in hell. And in regards to that, I was mentioning how frustrated I've been since, and hopefully this mic, sorry to jump again, but hopefully this mic stops the bouncing because last video I sounded like I was kind of bouncing as my heart rate was getting up. So hopefully this one minimizes that. But anyways, so per our conversation of how to keep our heart open in hell, how do you move out of the vibration of feeling that state of hopelessness? That was kind of her question. How do you feel? How do I deal with a unwanted manifestation? Once I've manifested something in my physical body, i.e. blockage, 90% blockage in my left anterior descending artery, the widowmaker. What I'm assuming is, how have I moved myself from that feeling of despair, hopelessness, frustration, right? Because you get frustrated when I know personally, like I spoke in my last video, get very frustrated with myself and I ask why? Why the heck did I manifest this unwanted situation? Why did I manifest this illness in my body? What did I do? I did everything right? When you feel as if we're doing everything right, and I felt personally that I was doing everything right. I was eating right. I was exercising right. I was meditating almost every day. I was doing these videos with you guys. I was walking Odin. I was hanging out with Shauna. I was doing so many things right. How do you come to terms? How did I come to terms and start to accept that I still manifested this dis-ease, right? Because technically I've got coronary artery disease now, even though all my other arteries are completely open. But technically I'm diagnosed with coronary artery disease, which sucks. How do I come to terms vibrationally with that and move forward? And that is a very, very good question. So for me, it is about going through that little process that I talked about in the last video, which I think is my process in general. And it's first accepting the situation as it is, accepting that, yes, I have this problem. I manifested this ailment in my body. 2, what was 2? I know it was, 1 was accepting what was happening. 2 was kind of asking what I can learn from it. What is it that I can take from this? What is this ailment? What is this discomfort, this unwanted manifestation teaching me? I'm going to talk while I take Odin back. He doesn't want. There's Odin. Now we're going into the house. All right, buddy, have fun with your mom. Oh, get in there. Go. He's bored when I talk on the camera. So so it's first accepting the situation as it is. This is the situation. This is what's happening. This is the manifestation. Then moving from accepting what is to what can I take from this? What is this teaching me? How is this part of my curriculum? And then moving forward into identifying what it is that I do want, right? And recognizing that my soul, my inner being has expanded to a new state of being as a result of my asking the question, right? Asking that question, Well, as soon as I experienced that unwanted thing, my spirit expanded, my inner being expanded. And so then recognizing that my spirit and my inner being has expanded, and then that surrendering process, which is always the hardest part. Surrendering that this path may be the best, will be the best way to get to the outcome of your desire. So, for me, since that's the process, I move through the accepting of what is, which also is entailing like feeling the emotion, right? So acceptance is this state of acknowledging for me what's happening in my mind. All right, I've got a blockage in my artery. Not anymore, right? So it's all clear, but this is the past. I've got this, I manifested this blockage in my artery. What are the emotions that arise from that? Frustration, anger, resentment, despair, depression, rage, pessimism, like just really low, just in that lower vibrational area. So accepting the emotion, feeling the emotion in my body, recognizing that I'm feeling this in my heart, feeling this in my gut, this lack of empowerment that I'm experiencing, or this heaviness that's on my chest. And then asking myself, okay, Zach, what can you take from this? So right now personally, I've accepted, I've experienced the emotion. Now I'm moving forward into this, what did this manifestation, this unwanted manifestation, show me? And so if I just break it down for myself, I had a blockage in the in the artery supplying blood to my heart. So if the heart is the state of the feelings of love, joy, if it's that ability for us to express and feel, I had in one of my main arteries the inability to let that energy flow into my heart, right? So it's maybe the resistance from me of allowing myself to feel joy, not taking the opportunities, whether that be hanging out with Odin, who you guys just saw, or Shauna, or just doing the things that bring me joy, inhibiting my own sense of joy. I also like to reference the Louise Hay book and Soul Speak by Dolores Cannon's daughter, Julia Cannon. And in the from Louise Hay, the Heal Your Life, what it said when in coronary artery disease or a heart blockage is the inability to feel joy, resisting the ability to feel joy, which would make total sense, right? I had been for the last, since it's maybe a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years, I'd been restricting my own ability to experience true joy. I have been trying to teach and talk to you guys about that, but yet when I was applying that in my own life, I felt like I had a lot of responsibility. That's why I haven't been making a lot of videos and I've just been doing these lives, because for me it's now impertinent that I get on this bike and I do it for 30 minutes a day. And when I was making all these videos for you guys, which I really enjoyed, I did not like the editing process, where it took me an extra 2 hours to edit a 15-minute video. Wasn't fun. Wasn't enjoyable. Also, with a dog that's as loving and wonderful as Odin is, he's a lot of work. Luckily, I don't have kids, because that would really, I'm sure, enhance the joy and bring it down because of the responsibility. So for me, responsibility is not freeing. It's cumbersome. I have to go to work. I have to do this. I have to pay the bills. I have to do this. When in reality, it's my fault for not seeing it as an opportunity, right? I get to go to work. I get to take Odin for a walk for 2 hours. I get to hang out. I get to make these videos and edit them for you guys. And although at times my body and mind would shift between that, it was often difficult because the time constraints. And so the time constraints to me felt very cumbersome. They felt heavy. They felt like weight on my shoulders and in my chest. And so that was not me experiencing joy. I was not choosing situations and experiences to move into that would help me feel more joy. And I was not having the mindset of the situations that had already chosen, going to work, doing all these things that are responsibilities, where I was feeling as if I wasn't able to fully experience joy in the midst of them. So now the question becomes, okay, I recognize that. That is part of why this showed up. Maybe it could have been also the physical happenings, such as COVID. Right? I got COVID twice, and immediately following these instances of COVID, I manifested this blockage in my heart. So what if COVID just so happens to be a catalyst, a viral catalyst, showing us all the places that we can work on for ourselves? If our bodies are all manifesting illnesses in different ways as a result of both physical happenings and emotional and spiritual happenings, right, metaphysical ailments, then maybe these viruses are an opportunity for us to recognize this is a place to work on. So who knows, if I had gone back sooner, I could have been more mindful in the past and caught this earlier, and maybe it could have reversed itself. I'm not sure. I know I was pretty frustrated because I felt as if I did everything right to prevent that from happening in the first place. And then things showed up anyways. So if I'm being completely honest with myself, I did a lot of things right. I did most things right. But maybe, just maybe, those of us who watch these things and who understand the importance of the metaphysical recognize that we have a little bit less of a buffer. We have a little bit less, as we walk into this journey of spiritual awakening, we have a little bit less of our timeline is shorter, so our manifestations become quicker, both good, wanted and unwanted, good and bad, health and disease. So maybe we just have this shorter timeline, and that's okay. Maybe that demonstrates that we have even more power, we have even more potential. And so for us to understand as part of our curriculum as being spiritual beings in these human experiences is to recognize that I have to be more sensitive to my thoughts and therefore my associated emotions. For me, I know that is part of the journey of this physical incarnation. And you are probably similar to that. And it gets frustrating because you I don't know if you're like me, you may feel like you're getting picked on, right? I feel like, for me, I do the right things. I'm doing everything that I feel that I've been inspired to do, that I feel as if I should be doing for my overall physical, emotional, mental health and well-being, and yet bad things still arise. Why even continue on? Right? Why even continue if I'm going to keep getting picked on? I know I'm going back to this beautiful non-physical place that we can call heaven. Why would I continue on when I do everything right and things still show up negatively in my experience? Maybe that's part of the curriculum, right? That is part of the lesson. You can still do everything right and things will still show up. And we might not have the answers. I know I personally don't always have the answers, but I do know that the reason something showed up negatively, unwanted, is because there was a resistance in my body somewhere for some reason, right? So then the journey, the part of the lesson, the part of the curriculum, so that we can continue and expand and move towards that area where our soul is already observing us, is to take that lesson with some grace. And it's not always easy, because 2 days ago, if you watched the video, our last live, you remember how frustrated and annoyed I was as a result of these negative experiences, right? Why did I have to have this? Why was I feeling this state of depression? Why was I feeling this state of anger and frustration? Well, if we just follow the law of attraction, our emotional guidance systems are telling us how in alignment or out of alignment we are with our souls, with our inner beings. And so, in that moment, my thoughts were very far away from how my inner being was seeing the situation. Moving forward into our later stages of my own personal healing is the surrender. And so, for me, this is a big part where I'm a control freak, and we talked about this. Maybe you are too, that's why you like the law of attraction and all these good things, but in the state of surrender, it's almost, for me, it's a state of faith, and I have a really tough time with faith. When I first got onto this journey in 19 of understanding the law of attraction, I remember driving up the parking lot when I was working valet and thought, why can't I just have faith? Why can't I just have faith? Why can't I just let go and trust that God wants what's best for me, that my inner being wants what's best for me? And I think that's just the strength of our own egos, right? When Buddha had his fight with the demon Mara, the Mara was his own psyche, his own shadow aspect, where it was the ego saying this physical reality is all that exists. The women, the money, the success, the armies, the power, that's all that exists. And Buddha, instead of trying to fight Mara, he sat there in stillness and observed Mara. Right? And then when Mara said, well, I'm real, who are you, Buddha? Right? Or who are you, Siddhartha? Because he wasn't the Buddha yet. Buddha just kept his eyes closed and he touched the ground and he said, Earth will be my witness that I am real, that I am here. You're not real, you're an illusion, Mara. You are my own mind. And then the earth crumbled and Mara and the demon army fell through the cracks. And so that, for me, I know that my ego is exceptionally strong. And maybe yours is too. If yours is too, give me a comment down in the section down below or a thumbs up, because our egos want to make everything in our physical realities and contort it to the way we want it, right? That's why the law of attraction is so alluring. I love it. It is a law. It is a spiritual law. But within that spiritual law is the understanding of grace, right? Is the understanding of surrender. And instead of fighting for it, for me, I don't want to be on the medication for the rest of my life. I don't want to be taking statins and beta blockers and blood thinners and blah, 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 blah. But if I surrender to it, and like my friend Lori said, very smart Lori, because I thought this many years ago, but I thank you for reminding me this evening. What if you can just allow the medication to do exactly what it wants to do, and all the side effects will, dissipate, right? This is your process right now. This is the process of healing for you at this moment. And I agree 100%. Thank you, Lori, for reminding me. Sometimes the path, the unwanted path, may in fact be the best path. And the only reason it's unwanted is because we're acting from our egos, which I often do, because we don't have the full picture. We don't have the full viewpoint as we're looking, right? Our inner being can see the whole thing. Looking down, Zach, this is the right path. Go left. And then hang out on the medication. It's okay to hang out on the medication. It'll be okay. Everything's good. We're taking care of you. We're watching you. We're observing you. We're loving you. But in my own ego, I want to control how that arises. No, the best way forward. I don't want to affect my body anymore. I want to go this way. I don't want that stent. I don't want the stent. Oh, the stent has to happen. I don't want the medication. I don't want maybe the medication is the perfect thing for you right now. Maybe it's not. Maybe eventually I will be inspired to not take the medication. But I will know if I'm on the right path by the way I feel, right? That's always the indication. If I'm feeling joy, which, to be honest with you guys, I haven't really felt joy in a while. It's been a hot minute. The most joy I feel is when I'm hanging out with my family. Sorry, I gotta fix my junk. fix my junk on this bike. My apologies. It's not very spiritual of me, but whatever. Here we are, back on track. But I know that I'm on the right path by the amount of joy that I feel. That's how we always know. It's this intuitive, the signal from within us that we are on the right path by the amount of joy. How close to joy are we? The further away from joy, the further we are away from our inner beings. The closer we are to joy, the more unified we are with our inner beings. And so that, for me, I know right now, is a huge lesson. Feel more joy and surrender to the outcome, right? And allow yourself to be guided, because today, Lori, my dear friend Lori, was my inspiration from Source, from God. She was the reminder, it's okay, don't resist it right now. Allow it to be. When the time comes for you to change that, you can change it. You can make those choices, because we will give you inspired action to move away from that. And so for me, I'm always keep coming back to this for me, because I'm not getting anybody's feedback and comments. It's just me flying solo over here, shooting the shiz. That's a fun word, shiz. For me, it's always this, it's a process of reading in my notes, my inspiring quotes, my reminders. I have a little 12-step reminders about the law of attraction, about vibration. And I like to read those, and when I don't read those, which I haven't read them, and I'm being honest, in about a month, my mind starts to flutter away. And then I stop meditating, and I only meditated probably twice in the last 5 days. And then when I do meditate, I fall asleep, so I'm getting away from my practice of going inward. These have been my best practices lately, is talking with you guys and sharing these insights, because sometimes these insights pop into my head while I'm talking with you guys, talking these out loud. So I know that I'm in earnest. I'm not doing the work. I'm not reminding my subconscious of all the beauty that there is, right? Buddha, when he attained enlightenment, it wasn't that he removed suffering. It was that he began to recognize that there is joy and bliss in every moment. There is joy and bliss in every moment. Me looking at this little camera over here in this dark garage while I do this bike that's helping my blood pump, my muscles stay strong, and all those wonderful things. That's joy. When I see Odin and Shauna and I get to talk to them, and there's joy and bliss in that moment. Because if I go forward to the day of my death, and I like to play this game, and maybe this is a good game for you to play watching this, the day of my death, or when I'm 90 years old, if I get to that chance, and I get to jump back from 90 years old or 80 years old into this body, this 38-year-old body, what would be my perspective? My perspective would be, wow, I have so much vigor, I have so much strength, I have so much opportunity that lay before me. I have so much time, I can do anything. That's the paradox, right? There's no time and there's nothing but eternity. That's the paradox. We have nothing but time, and yet we have no time and nothing but time. It's an interesting paradox. But at 90 years old, if I got to jump back into this 38-year-old body and thought, wow, how strong I feel, how much clarity, mental clarity I have, how much my lung capacity, how great it was, how strong my legs are, it would be like a whole new world. What a beautiful experience to jump back. Maybe that's why as spiritual beings, we keep jumping back into these bodies, for the opportunity again and again and again to remember that, to remember how much power lays within us, because even though I don't always feel it myself personally, I like to share it with you guys when I do, because we feel so much inspiration. There's so much inspiration coming to us from our spiritual guides, always coming from our inner beings, right? Our soul, always. From God as a whole, the divine, the entire source. Our friends, coming messages from them. Sometimes messages are not always inspirational messages, and it's just ego messages, so we have to learn to decipher between those two, right? That's where we use the emotional guidance system. But connecting with the emotions, recognizing what they're telling us, for me, that's always been number one. I just so happen to not listen. And you're probably like me. We just tend to not listen. We tend to feel this sense of despair, depression, frustration, pessimism. And I don't know if you're like me, you like to soak a little bit in it. Just a little bit, not too long, but I like to soak and feel it. But then sometimes if I hang out there too long, I keep getting pulled down, right? The law of attraction, that which is like unto itself is drawn. So if I'm in pessimism, I'm going to keep getting situations and thoughts that remind me of being pessimistic. And then I'll move downward, and then I'll move downward, and then all of a sudden I'm in a hole of despair and depression. It can happen very quickly. We all know it can. So recognizing for myself, and hopefully you're recognizing this as well as we're talking this out together, that our emotions are the way that we're going to know that we're being inspired to take action, and most definitely reminded to change our thoughts, right? Or to maintain our thoughts. If we're feeling in a really good, happy, joyful place, let that flow, right? Ride that wave. Bask in those good moments, right? Bask in the good moments. For me, I've just been basking as much as I can. Like right now, my heart feels so good. Thank you so much, heart, for feeling so good. Thank you, lungs, for feeling so amazing. Thank you, legs, for feeling strong. Thank you, mouth, for feeling dry. I need some water, but I haven't drank any yet. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Reminding ourselves of the emotional guidance system. The emotions are always on point. And they're always on point because that is the way that our inner beings communicate with us. And so when we go back to from Tuesday, how do I keep my heart open in hell? It's recognizing that I can have that perspective, that dualistic perspective where I'm both human and spirit, where I feel for you, right? Somebody's suffering, or you're suffering. I feel it. I allow it to be. I feel sadness for you that you're suffering. And yet, simultaneously, having that awareness of my soul and my spirit, I see the beauty in your teachings. I see that this is just part of your beautiful soul curriculum, and you will grow and expand from this. What a beautiful curriculum you have. And together, when we marry those, like Ram Dass says, that's the true expression of compassion, is marrying the spirit and the physical, those two perspectives, the very human and the very angelic, the very human and the very spiritual. And it's all one. Everything's one. It's all one. So when we unify our awareness, and we sit from the one, knowing that all is me, I have true compassion. I have true love for you. And so that's, I guess, the answer to the question of when something unwanted happens, how do you get out of it? We kind of do the same thing we did in our last video. So if you haven't checked it out, check out our last video. But you go through the process of healing, of integration, acceptance, right? This is what's happening. Feel the emotion, allow it to be, understand the thought associated with the emotion or the belief associated with the emotion, because there's a belief. We have a lot of subconscious beliefs that we can uncover and understand. And then, what was our third one? Oh, asking how this is part of my curriculum, right? What can I learn from this experience? How can I grow and learn from this experience? Right? Unwanted always leads to something wanted. Unwanted always leads to something wanted. I know that I want unbounded health. I know that I want to express and feel unbounded joy and love. So these are reminders for me. It was a hard reminder, very expensive reminder. Over my max out of pocket is going to be $8,000. Ooh, yikes. But it's a very expensive reminder, but I'm here to express with you guys and to keep enjoying this beautiful reality, to enjoy this time together, right? That's my lesson. Feel more joy, feel more love, be more love, be more joy. 4, what do I want from this? I already said that, right? I want unbounded joy. I want unbounded vigor. I want to be more healthy, happy, dead. Maybe around 82. That'd be a nice number. And then number 5, oh, I'm sweating. Surrender that. Let go and have faith that the inner being, that the soul, that the eternal spirit present source wants exactly what we want. Right? Rumi, our dear teacher Rumi says, what you seek is seeking you. What we want wants us. And the only way we can truly get that is to stop trying to control everything. I'm talking to myself now, so maybe I'm saying this out loud, but I'm talking to myself. To stop controlling everything and to accept the grace that is bestowed upon us and move like a river with the experience, right? Move the Wu way, effortless action. It's moving like the river down, not fighting the rock, but moving around it, bouncing around it, flowing, easy. Effortless action, Wu way. That is true surrender. It doesn't mean we can't have desire, we can't have wants, because obviously you're here because you have desire just like I do. We have desire. We have these true, earnest, heartfelt desires. And in those heartfelt desires, that is how we can allow God, Source, Spirit, to express through us. But we have to be guided in joy. If we're not guided in joy, if we're guided in fear, frustration, pessimism, those are all great ways to give us these expansive states of soul, because we're asking from this really desiring place and we want it. Our heart wants it, right? My heart wants full health. I'm sure your heart wants full health, money, relationships, whatever it is. Your heart deeply desires that. My heart deeply desires that. And so, instead of fighting it and trying to figure out how I need to get there, it's always the letting go and the surrender into being inspired towards it. I don't know how it will show up. I just know that it will. I don't know when I'll get off these meds. I just know that I will. I don't know when my book will be published. I just know that it will. I don't know when I'll die. I just know that I will. All right, my friends, we've made it. We actually went over 33 minutes. Thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. I hope you liked this video. Maybe I just it always helps me when I have more comments, but we didn't have any comments tonight, so I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. Be well. And remember that, what's our parting message for tonight? Remember that you are fantastic and awesome, and your inner being wants what you want, and your healing and everything is on the way. It always is. Everything works out for us. From this point in our life, looking backwards, everything has worked out. We're here now. It's all worked out. So if we just clarify more earnestly through writing, through meditation, through visualization, what it is that we truly want. I'm going to press this button really quick to see. What is that? I can't see that. Oh, that's chat. All messages are visible. Oh, there it is. Hey, that was weird. Thank God I can now finally see your guys' chat videos. Anyways, everything has worked out for you so far, right? Everything will consistently work out for you. It has from this point in your life, looking backwards. You're here now. And so just keep remembering that. That's our parting message for tonight. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Until our next video, be well, and I will see you soon. All right, you guys. Bye.